What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about $50 versus $80 games. I know it's been a topic that a few others have discussed, but look, I think a lot of this was really brought up very recently because of Oblivion, because of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I mean, really, because I've mentioned games like Kena Bridge of Spirits, which I'm going to get back to a game like that. I mean, you can go back, right? You can go back this generation, last generation, pick your favorite one. And there's a lot of games, $30, $40, $50, right? And it's a variable kind of pricing strategy. Obviously, nowadays, you're having companies that are going to start raising games. 70 is kind of the new norm, and now, obviously, Nintendo and Xbox, and I'm sure others will follow, going up to 80, right, for select games. And it's got people talking about, okay, like WTF, right? You have these $50 games specifically with Oblivion and Expedition 33 that are cleaning up, right? They're doing so freaking well. And then you stack those against 80, or you even think, okay, well, some of the better games of the last couple of years, right? Or you think about those two. You think about a thing like Helldivers was also, I think, $50 or even 40. You got games coming out in the fall, even like a Marathon. That might break the trend a little bit. But, $50 games is not super uncommon. I will say, I do think the companies that charge the $80, it should be looked at as rather embarrassing when $50 games kind of clean up, past them or, kind of just beat them at all. It's a tough thing because I've kind of mentioned, you talk about like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you talk about Expedition 33, like these are games in different situations. Like Kingdom Come, it's a miracle, and it's astounding that they're able to create the world and all the stuff that they did in Kingdom Come. And then you look at the budget and you say, okay, well, why is that like a fifth of other games? And a large amount of that is probably even labor costs, right? Like people just aren't as expensive to hire. So like some things are kind of impossible to get around. But I do think, here's where I'll go with this, okay? The thing that I've always stressed so much, right, is that creativity. It's that freedom. The price is almost like an extension of it, right? At least to me. I guess I can only speak to my opinion. When I think of these things, I think, okay, like the future and the types of studios and the types of games that I get really, really excited for, and the ones that have the potential, I think, to really surprise people, it is the games like Expedition 33. I don't think it's whatever's coming from Ubisoft. There's a lot of safe games that can come out. There's a lot of blockbusters that can be extremely good. I mean, we just got Doom: The Dark Ages, and I don't want to spoil my review of that game, but that game is a rock solid, really, really good game. I don't know if it's elite or amazing. I'll talk about that in my review, but it's such a freaking solid, and that takes people. That takes a big budget. You can't really get that by using the budget, of some of these smaller games. You also really can't get away with charging $50 for Doom because really, again, it's an extension. It's because of all the other stuff. The game costs more, there's more people, it takes more time, and because of that, the price can't be $50. I think it's really, and because I've said this before too, like at least my bubble, and I try to break out of my bubble, I see a lot of people that always talk about sales. And I think, as prices of games continue to go up and up and up, people really just say to themselves, okay, how much is a game worth to me? And a lot of people, at least that I see, and maybe it's the crowd I've attracted, which is okay. I think a lot of people are very cool around here. A lot of people wait. A lot of people wait $30, $40, $50. That's the sale. Then they'll pick up the game, right? And that's the thing. That's always kind of what I stress too, is like it's up to the individual. Are games worth $80? I really think that's up to you. I know some people will just flat out say no. I've seen plenty of people that said no game is worth $80, and that's definitely a definitive statement. I don't know if I agree, because just simply like if a game comes around that is just like world changing, I talk about it with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like that game stuck with me, still does. That's how I know it's one of my favorite games I've ever played. My game of the year. Expedition 33, that game has stuck with me. It's a special game. I'll never forget it. It's a game I'll be talking about 5-10 years from now. It's one of the better games I've ever played. Can you really put a price on that? And for me, the answer is, well, you could kind of put an indefinite price. You could put a price at $110. That might be worth it. $50, that might be worth it, right? It kind of just depends on the person. To a lot of people, games will never be worth more than $40, right? It's a hobby. It's something they do for fun. They're not spending freaking $100 on a video game. They'll spend $40. It's all part of the same conversation. It's definitely interesting. But again, I do think the one thing you can take from it is, I don't know, like you're making this really big, high budget $80 game, and if it fails and stuff, and then these $50 or $40 games are doing laps around you, that makes you look pretty bad. You're part of a system, so it's different, and I think that's why a healthy balance. It's really always what I want. When I talk about remasters and remakes, people get after me and say, don't you ever want new games? Of course I do. Expedition 33 is my freaking game of the year. I want a balance. Let's bring some games back. Let's have that preservation. Let's do remakes and remasters. Let's do brand new games. Let's do these high budget, $70 or $80 games. Let's do these lower budget, I suppose, but these highly creative 50. Now, again, one thing I definitely do think that you can kind of definitively say is when it comes to that creativity and really, I guess, pushing boundaries from that perspective, it's tough because sometimes you do get pushing boundaries from the $70 or $80, right? Like, say, GTA 6, right? GTA 6 is going to do things that factually, I think a lot of games that are smaller budget, smaller teams, $40, $50 games, they can flat out not make the fizz in the beer can, actually do that. And it's like, okay, well, what do you value, right? And again, I think that's kind of up to the person. Do you want this kind of game that can really push the technology and push like this kind of open world kind of environment? I think a lot of people do. I think GTA is going to work. But then it's like, okay, well, again, games like that, you're part of a huge group, and you're not going to have, say, Expedition 33's story and the kind of themes and just what they do with that. It's special. It's different. You really don't get a lot of games that do stuff like that for even specific moments that I won't spoil. It's rare, and you can't get that with $70, $80 games. So it's kind of a trade-off, right? Like, they can push things in some ways. Like Kena Bridge of Spirits, I think it's just an all-around phenomenal game, but, that game is very, very special to me, and that game kind of harkens back to some stuff. It kind of pushes some stuff forward, but, it's special. I don't know if you could get that from $80, but then vice versa. There's stuff from $70 or $80 games that you can't get the other way around. So I get it. Like, I get the headlines and the titles, like, it is something that when you have those games that come out and they outperform, when Expedition 33 sells 2 million, and if it does 3, 4, 5, 6, if it beats like Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Like, well, what does that say? Ultimately, it kind of says like a bunch of different things, and some of those are hard to implement. I always sound like I may be defending like these huge corporations. I mean, I've said it before, like, it is hard. I think I said with Expedition 33 specifically, like, are there lessons the industry should learn from a game like that? The answer is yes, but will they learn the lessons from that? I actually believe the answer is no. I think it's just because, the stuff we want changed in like the AAA space, it's hard to change. Like, unless you really split up studios and you have, say, like a Naughty Dog become kind of 5 teams, like 5 smaller teams, that is how you can kind of push like maybe higher budget, but really focus on that creativity and of like an Expedition 33, right? You can kind of transfer it over, but like, how are you supposed to do that? You're really going to go to Naughty Dog and split into 5. Ubisoft has like the most employees out of all these companies. You're going to split them into like 100 different teams instead of like 20. Like, that's very difficult to do. There's always lessons you can learn, and there's ways you can maximize money, but I really think I definitely believe this when it comes to like those. I guess Oblivion's kind of tough because Oblivion's like, it's a remaster, so you're not going to charge full price. But like, if you made Oblivion now, you probably would charge $80, right? So it's kind of tough. Maybe like a Helldivers would be a better example, or other $40 or $50 games. Like, I just hope that creativity, like the idea of letting that creation kind of flow, because those are normally tied to the price, I think, a little bit. That's how I see it, is creativity is kind of tied more with the price. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.